Daddy let me loose, they gotta move. Bishop with the burner, baby, I got the juice. They hating on my team, cause we the truth. Won't he do it, and we the proof. We gon' take them way, 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 way up. We gon' take them way, 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 way up. We gon' take them way, 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 way up. We gon' take them way, 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 way up. Yeah. First drop, they were like, Biz, who are you, boy, get your name up. Try to hold me down, but you know me now, look at God, I done came up. They were looking for the sauce, I was cooking for the boss, now I'm A1. Try to keep us out the game, we gon' make it.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Rick Sincere with MTMV Sports, man. I'm geeked and blessed to be joined today by, man, I got three people on the line that you got to know about, man. Longtime friends, but also very successful in what they do. We got Derrick Myers from OTS. Thank you for joining the podcast, bro. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we got James Williams, assistant head coach over at Russ College, man. He has been killing it on the basketball scene, coaching for quite some time. Bro, welcome to the podcast. We appreciate you for being here as well.
Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. We have our very own Miles Austin, our NBA correspondent. We're going to talk about the draft, so it's appropriate that we have him on. Plus, we got Derrick on here, and they've been beefing on IG, and I wanted to bring the fight to your ears live, man. I didn't want you to have to wonder how that would pan out. I wanted to bring it to you. So here we go. We got Miles Austin on here. Welcome, Miles.
What's going on, family? Glad to be a part as always. Myers is on the line, bro. I'm loving it. And I got a fellow Laker guy. I'm good. James, we in here, dog. What's good?
Yo, first off, I'm offended by the fact that you say you have a fellow Laker guy and not fellow Laker guys.
Well, he's been here when he was with us when we were trash.
That's fine. When
we were trash,
that's
he didn't
fine.
go nowhere like yourself.
Hey, man. You know, I'm not a. You know what? That's jacked up. But anyway, so look, we're here, y'all, with the NBA draft. Just happened. The 2020 NBA draft just went down. There were a lot of shocking moves, kind of right at the top. There was some shock, but the question is, what was the most shocking move to you as you kind of go through the whole first round? What was the most shocking move to you in the draft? We'll start off with the guy who I know is kind of looking and evaluating the talent. We'll start off with James here. James, first round, most shocking move to you?
You mean for who got drafted? Because my most shocking was who didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
Miles Powell. I know he got picked up as an undrafted free agent. He'll be going to New York. But for me, it was kind of shocking because the production at the college level, at the high level, was there. And I felt like there were some people that went in that first round. Even if I thought mid to late, there were some teams that could have used the guy who could put the ball in the basket like he can. And I know the prognosticators say different things like defense and size and all that, but he produced in the Big East, and that's tough. It's been a tough league, grinded out kind of league. And when you can put up numbers like he did and even get the accolades that he did alongside Obi Toppin this year, I thought that was a real big stretch. But if I had to pick somebody who was drafted, I would go number 7 with the Pistons, with Killian Hayes, the kid out of France. That was a shocker to me because I understand the nostalgia with the international guys. But in this year of COVID, man, without observing and just seeing people, I know it had to have been difficult to evaluate the kid. But when I, just kind of looking at the film and going on, YouTube and finding some things about him, I don't know how his game's going to translate, from the standpoint of he's a crafty guard, but he doesn't have the quickness, And then when you combine that with the youth, how long is it going to take him to get adjusted to the game? Almost like Nikili out of France. I mean, Nikili out of New York.
Yeah.
He came in with the measurables, but just catching up to the NBA game, being able to shoot and consistently be on the floor is going to be a tough thing. So those would be my biggest sleepers. Miles Powell not getting drafted and Killian Hayes at 7 for the Pistons. I felt like they could have went somewhere a lot better.
I'm gonna take you back for a second to that Porzingis draft, and people were shocked when Porzingis kind of went as high as he did. Were you shocked when Porzingis went that high back then?
No, because the measurables, 7'3" with that skill set, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very difficult to be a 7-footer and to move like that. So when you're asking me to evaluate a big, the first thing I'm always looking at is his feet. Because if he has very good footwork, he's gonna be that helps. I mean, already you're 7 foot, so that helps. But if you can move like that at 7 feet, you have an advantage. That's why I thought the James Wiseman pick was a good pick, because the kid can move. You know, and this is a league where if you can move, you got to move. Like, you got to cover pick and roll. You got to cover ground and be able to get back to your spots in your defensive rotation, and you got to be a rim protector. If you can move your feet laterally in these kind of situations, in those kind of situations, it helps. It always helps. So that's what I look for whenever big. So when you look at Porzingis and you flash on the tape, first thing I'm going for is his feet. And if you look, you like, man, this dude can compete from that standpoint alone. Now you talk about adding the skill from somebody who's been playing overseas and probably been playing since he was 10 professionally. You know what I mean?
Okay. Derrick, what was your most shocking move in this one?
I wouldn't say it's really shocking. I was just kind of like confused. I mean, I understand why Obi Toppin was drafted by the Knicks, but because of their logjam at the wing, that's why I was kind of confused, because they need a point guard. So I kind of figured they were going to, maybe go for a point guard, but I don't think they're even done with all their moves. So I kind of get it, but I think they're going to. I think they're banking on free agency right now in terms of getting a big name for point guards. So I think, again, it's not shocking because it's the Knicks, but it's kind of it was kind of confusing draft wise.
Okay, Miles, where you at with this one, man? What's the most shocking move for you in the first round?
If I'm completely honest, I'm gonna start at the top of the draft. I'm not thinking. I didn't think Minnesota would take Anthony, and I only say this: Anthony is worthy of. Like, I'm not. He's a great talent. I wouldn't say he's all around. Obviously, there's some flaws in his game, but if I'm looking at fit, I'm going with LaMelo Ball over because I have Karl Anthony Towns and I have D'Angelo Russell, who to me really isn't a point guard. I think he would flourish more at the shooting guard, being set up as a shooter, finishing, cutting, back doors, things of that nature. I would have looked at LaMelo Ball and his passing skills, his scoring ability. I don't think it's just not Anthony Edwards' game. So I honestly thought they kind of kept it close to the chest most of the time. So you really didn't know which way they were going. But I think Anthony Edwards isn't a bad pick if you believe that D'Angelo Russell is a point guard. And I'm guessing that's where they're going and expecting him to do that. I just didn't see D'Angelo Russell as that facilitating point guard. He's a scorer, and he's a one-on-one player. He can break you down. So I figured LaMelo Ball would complement that duo that they had there already, D'Angelo and Karl Anthony Towns. But I wouldn't say it was like super shocking, one of those two. I just felt like I'd have leaned more towards LaMelo in terms of where I wanted to go with the style of play if I have D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns to pair him with.
So, James, I need to ask you about Anthony Edwards, right? Have you seen this kid before?
Yeah, I've been watching this kid probably. I actually have film of this kid playing against my former school's middle school in 7th grade. So I actually kind of got a glimpse of him early on, and then he played at Thurl when I was at Norcross, and then when I took the job at Drew, he was at Thurl still. So yeah, I've watched him quite a bit. Seen a lot of him up close, because I'll be in the gyms, but yeah, I've seen a lot of him.
When you saw him first time you saw him, did you feel that you were watching the first pick in the NBA draft at some point?
Not necessarily first pick, but I felt like he was just bigger. Even when he played Pop Warner, like he played football, for the Atlanta Vikings, he was just always bigger. So he was always physically gifted. And so when you're looking at a kid, especially going to the league, you want to look at his physical, the natural gifts. And there's just some kids like LeBron, you could just tell he was, at 16 years old, you 6'8", 240, you're built. Like you're built for the professional ranks. You know what I mean? Or you think of somebody like Adrian Peterson, when he was in college, he was just physically bigger and stronger. Like some guys, you can just tell that they're physically can handle that, and that their growth process the curve is going to be shortened. So for him, just being in high school, he was just physically dominant, and then now you talk about developing the skills. And then at UGA, freshman of the year, you averaged 19 points in the SEC. By the way, the SEC had the most people drafted in the first round, any conference.
It's
growing from a basketball standpoint. When you look at the teams and the talent that's going to be coming in, even next year's draft is going to be loaded with SEC guys. For him to do what he did, and even in college, you could just tell other two guards, this guy's guarding him. He's 6'4", 230. He's just built. Like, he's just built for that two-guard spot. And then, when you get with a guy like Tom Crean, who's produced Dwayne Wade and Victor Oladipo, you could tell that it was trending that way. You could tell it was trending that way when he was at Holy Spirit. And he played in big-time matchups. He dominated his matchups. And in the high school level, that's what you want to look at for a guy. Are you dominating your matchups? Are you dominating against the other top 50 guys that you're going up against, on a Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday, when you're playing? So.
I love it. Yo, let me go to you, Mav. I need to know, as you look at this draft, who's the guy who comes from this as the star of this draft?
Star of it.
The star of this draft class.
I'm high on him right now, man, but I think I got to go with Melo. I think I got to go with Melo on what he's going to do because he has opportunity to shine. I think when you talk about Anthony Edwards going to Minnesota, you have two proven all-stars, which I believe Cat's been an all-star, right? I want to say he has. But you have two proven people on the roster who we don't have to defer to you to lead this team. Same thing with James Wiseman. Even with the Klay Thompson injury, you're going to be looked at as a producer, but you're not the guy, right? In Charlotte, you're looking at LaMelo, Devontae Graham. I think Malik Monk is kind of taking a step back. I bring a lot more to the court, but we're going to see, what he does alongside LaMelo and those guys as they build that offense. But I think LaMelo just has the most opportunity to become that guy for their team. Every other person is fitting into a role and playing amongst what that team and what that style of play already is and that culture. I think James Wiseman is going to flourish in that culture. I think Steve Kerr and that coaching set you have there, that culture is just a good culture. I think James Wiseman was a perfect pick. Like James said earlier, a 7'1" guy who's mobile like that, who can eat off of a Draymond Green or a Steph Curry. This will be the year for Andrew Wiggins to step up. So I think James Wiseman has an opportunity to be good because of what he's surrounded. But I think Melo has the biggest opportunity to be a star and a guy for there. And he has the expectation as well. So I think he has the opportunity just because of where he was drafted and along the pieces he has alongside him.
Yeah, that's fact. Yo, talk to me, Derrick. Who do you see star of this draft?
I'm actually stuck between LaMelo and Wiseman, but I think Melo is going to have like Miles was saying. I think he's going to have the bigger opportunity, especially with reports coming out today that the Clippers were interested in Rozier. I don't know if that's going to end up happening or not, but if they do trade for Rozier, that's even more time for Ball to go out there and do his thing. Wherever he's gone, he's flourished, and that's overseas. Like multiple places overseas. So I'm expecting him to. He to me seems to be like the most league ready guy like today. You know what I'm saying? So
really?
Because of all that opportunity.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he seems to be most league ready to me.
And against grown men.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
At least with the top 10, So yeah. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say Melo.
Okay, Coach, where you at with this one? When Miles first said Melo, I saw you shake your head a little bit.
But no. I'm glad you said that. I thought going to Minnesota wouldn't have been a good pick because D'Angelo Russell is ball dominant. Yeah. And I think the things that they said were true. Like LaMelo's had the ball in his hands since Lonzo left. He had the ball in Australia, when he played. And going to the Hornets are going to give him the basketball. Devontae can play off the ball. You got Miles Bridges. You got P.J. Washington. You got Zeller. You got, and they're still making moves. They picked up Vernon Carey, who I thought that was a great pick for them. I've seen Vernon up close since he was in high school, and I love his game, and he's down to 235 now. So it's only going to make, his face-up game is good just as well as his back-to-the-basket game. But I agree with everybody. I will throw in a name. I agree with what everybody said. I think LaMelo has star potential. And because he's built for it. He's been built for it since he was 13 years old, you know. But somebody that is very, very under the radar, and I like him a lot. And it's this system. Tyrese Halliburton.
That's good. That's good.
Listen, I hate his shot. I don't like it. But he makes it. But the kid, he's playing alongside De'Aaron Fox. Like this turns Fox, like it turns Fox into that combo, like where he doesn't have to be such a creator. I don't think he's gonna be like a huge big star, but he's gonna be a consistent guy in the league. And I just heard rumors that Buddy Hield wants to leave. He wants out. And so they say he wants to go to the Mavs. Everybody don't fit, but LeBron, like we got special made pieces.
It's a big fact.
We have special made pieces, but so yeah, I like the Tyrese Halliburton pick and Isaac Okoro.
Yeah. Again,
I'm picking a Georgia guy because I've seen these kids. That dude is one wherever he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and he fits so well in Cleveland with being able to D&3. He's gonna surprise a lot of people. You know, he's gonna surprise a lot of people. Yeah. And it's Bruce Pearl, the same thing he did with Chuma, you know, Kiki. And you know, those guys who are hybrid guys who can guard multiple positions. He can guard 1 through 3. He's gonna guard 1 through 3. And he finishes at the basket. And in the league, if you can do those things, because the player development is outstanding in the NBA. They're going to have guys that develop, you know. If you're putting in the time and the work, the organization is going to get behind your development. That's why I don't worry too much about where kids are when they're coming out of college, because the NBA spends a lot of money on development. I mean, and that's always important. That's always an important factor. But it also matters who's developing, because you know the Warriors have a good development system. Of course, the Lakers with Phil Handy, Cleveland when Phil was in Cleveland, you know their development with guys were very good. I think the Hawks do a very good job of developing players, and the Mavericks do. Yeah. So,
did you see anything? Did when you heard the comment that Anthony made, like I can't watch basketball, like I don't do, it's what I do, I don't watch it. Did that mean anything to you in terms of? It
didn't because these kids are different now. Like this generation is so different. Their interests are so expansive because of the internet. Because of the internet and that cell phone, they're not the same like we were. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have those distractions. Like we had PlayStation. Right? Everybody had the PlayStation. We played, but we were outside. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we were with our guys. These dudes are so specialized now, and they're so catered to with information and what they can see that it didn't matter. Like the dude produced. Like if you're saying that 19 points a game, freshman of the year, 33 points against Michigan State, that game he had against Michigan State really put him on the map. If you mean to tell me that's halfway in, oh my gosh. That's your halfway. Come on now. Like,
I knew it was different. I knew it was different when Instagram followers was mentioned. When Melo, we were talking about is he ready for the fame? It was like he has 600,000 more followers than Zion. And I was like, are we really mentioning Instagram followers?
Yo, wait, let's keep it a buck though. When we follow LaMelo, it was all on Instagram and everything, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, that was my first introduction to this whole ball family. It wasn't like on television, right? It was through these social media things, and I watched Zion the first time on Facebook. Right, but y'all saw them little clips when it was big man bullying these little kids, and I'm like, yo, who's this big dude, right? Like, yo, get him out of there. He shouldn't be there. And so we seen that, right? And then I watched Melo. The first time I saw Melo was the same thing. It was one of those clips where a kid scores 99 points or 100 points on some other kids, and I'm like, yo, who's this kid? And why does he keep why is he just staying right here and not playing no defense?
Right.
Like that was
that's the age we in. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And so
I think that's what we're kind of learning. Yeah, we're kind of learning that in this age of internet and social media, and everybody has their eyes on everything at every single moment, nothing gets passed. So if a person drops 40 or 50 on a team, it's on the web that night, and we're figuring out, and people are popping. Like, you think about Anthony Edwards that James mentioned on Michigan State, that solidified and was across like all the news saw this. Who is this kid? He had the explosiveness. He was consistent, but this game against Michigan State defense, putting up 33. You see that. You mentioned the 99 game or the 100 game that Melo put up. We're seeing him in Lithuania and seeing him in Australia. That doesn't happen if we're not in this social media age. He goes overseas and nobody knows about him. And you're seeing in the social media age, overseas people are coming over and looking great. I think even in this draft, a number of people from overseas were getting picked, and they're solid pieces because we're able to see via social media and their Instagram and Twitter and just the internet, and seeing what they bring to the table. So I think it's absolutely awesome, man. The one thing that Melo had different than Zion was that he was able to profit off all that stuff. He's at 16 driving a Lamborghini. Now, not to say that Zion didn't have no money, but you know, he like Melo was able to be like, I'm paid, bro. Like, I'm not worried about none of this. I know him being in the NBA, Zion was kind of taking stuff under the table. Not to mention the contract he got when he came out, got drafted. So Zion's good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Melo was able to profit a whole lot earlier. So, I mean, but he ruined his NCAA eligibility as well. So, I mean, it's give and take. But I will say this. I will say shout out to the NBA for doing that elite program that they're doing with the top high school prospects. You're getting $500,000 because they're seeing people looking at the overseas and going to make money. So shout out to the NBA and the G League for making that possible for top prospects in high school.
Yo, I don't know any of that stuff about Zion getting anything under the table. So look,
okay, all right.
So let's talk about. Yo,
he's good now.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So y'all mentioned, you know, guys kind of like coming up through the internet, right? Like, and, you know, being ranked really high and then going to overseas. We looked at a guy like RJ Hampton, and I'm bringing him up on purpose, right? Do y'all think there's a reason why, and I know I talked to James about this earlier, do y'all know a reason why his, you know, stock dropped so much? When he kind of came out, everybody thought, man, he would be, you know, probably one of the top guys, you know, but he didn't get picked until 24th, drafted by the Bucks, reportedly, you know, traded, right? Dealt to the Pelicans. I got excited. I was like, okay, cool, let's go. But then I'm hearing he's going to the Nuggets. Man, you know, like, what's up with a guy like RJ Hampton, James?
I just think COVID-19. I think COVID, you know, got him. When those guys, think about what happened when the NCAA shut down, and then, you know, they couldn't have workouts. You're talking 9 months of not being able to physically see guys, you know, see their development and see their growth. And I just think RJ fell into that. And the hype. He wasn't as successful as LaMelo was overseas. You know, LaMelo, what he averaged, 17, 7, and 7?
Yep.
Against grown, and them Australians are some tough dudes, and they tough in Australia. Yeah. But I think the simple fact of him going over there, what that does is it develops these young people into men. They become professionals. You know, at the college ranks, you know, we coddle the kids a little bit. You know, they get meals, they get rooms, they, you know, they kind of have their schedule laid out for them, where they're supposed to be when they need to be there. And you get overseas in that situation, and you got to kind of grow up a lot faster. Your maturation curve gets shorter. And so these guys, that's kind of what they have done. But for RJ, I just think it was COVID-19 got him. And I think for him, his abilities are going to shine in Denver. You know, Malone runs an open system. He's going to learn behind Jamal Murray. You know, and like I said, part of the biggest thing is where these guys go and the veterans that you have around you. You know, him playing behind Jamal Murray, he's going to get an opportunity being a first round pick. You know, so he's going to have the contract and the money. He's going to get the opportunity playing up there in Denver. But it's going to be tough out there in the West, and he's going to get baptism by guards, you know, night in and night out. And that should only make them better, you know?
Big facts.
Yo,
we pray it makes them better.
Baptism by guards. We pray it makes him better. Y'all dropping lines out here right now. Yo, talk to me, Derrick, man. You got look at a guy like Aaron Nesmith. Everybody talked about him as being one of the best shooters in this draft. He's going to a team that has no hope in Boston. What do you see or expect from a guy like?
Oh,
my bad.
Shots fired.
what did I do to you?
That's all love. That's all love.
I just had to do it.
You gotta throw it out there. That's messed up.
I'm just playing. Yo.
I hope they getting rid of Gordon. They'll be good.
Yo, but what's up with a guy like Aaron Nesmith, man? What do you expect to see from him?
Shooting. That's literally all he has to do out there. Like, I think whatever we get from him, aside from shooting, whether that's the driving, defense, ball IQ, whatever that is going to be a cherry on top. Because literally, like, I think our bench scoring was like ranked 29th or something like that this past season. Horrible, absolutely horrible. So I think a lot of the moves that we're seeing Boston make anyway is to aid that. And like Miles said, Gordon Hayward most likely will be gone. So I think he's gonna actually do the sign and trade. Indiana is where he wants to be. Like, he wants to go back home. So I think what's going to end up happening is that they're going to do a sign and trade with Indiana. They're going to get Miles. I think they're going to get Miles Turner. And I'm thinking McDermott.
They need a wing. They need a good wing. Well, you got Kim. I mean, you have Kim.
Plenty of wings. We don't need any more wings.
You need something. Nah. I don't know if a solid big.
Hey, you get Miles Turner. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going. Yes, it is. I think because I think you're replacing him with Enes Kanter. Like,
everybody y'all gets always.
Daniel Tice did his job. I'm sorry.
I said everybody's a big deal when the Celtics get them and let you tell them.
Yeah, you're winning the championship pretty much every year. Let you tell it.
Big deal. We got them. It's like
let me finish, Miles. What I'm saying though is the Celtics, all they really need is just to shore up that five, because you got to replace Enes Kanter. Daniel Tice did his thing, and you have Robert Williams, who is really good.
I like Robert.
I think what they're going to end up doing is getting Miles Turner, and I think they're going to probably try to go get Aaron Baines to, work with that small
Mr.
ball
Poster.
Hey, man.
He'd be on a lot of posters.
Hold up. No, hold up. Like, he was the underrated piece of that Phoenix Suns team this past season. That dude stretched the floor.
He just stayed being on posters. That's because he ain't afraid of nobody.
He's not afraid. That I think he played rugby too. Like that. Those are the guys.
I wouldn't even doubt it.
Those are the guys that don't care. So it is what it is.
As a very objective Laker fan, I will say that the Celtics do need shooting at the 2-guard spot. I think that hurt them against Miami. Like, Miami had, when you got Hero and you got Duncan Robinson, I really, really, really think that they should have more of a consistent shooter. Like, I didn't, yeah. I'm not a huge, I don't know. It's just something about Wanamaker that just doesn't say basketball, but
I think he's gone. He's a free agent now. Yeah, he's a free agent.
But yeah, he is.
It doesn't say basketball.
He's fired in 2K though. He fired in 2K.
He is crazy in 2K.
He looks like me. Like, his shape, like his shape, his body, he makes me think I can make it in the league. But he's an NBA player, no shade at all. I've seen him at Pittsburgh. He's very solid, very good player. Yeah. But no, just for what they need, like that consistent shooting is so important, and that's something in this draft that the teams. I think about the Spurs with Devin Vassell, another Georgia kid, consistent shooter. Like, when you're in the 40s. And when you can make shots at a 40% clip, that helps you that helps so much. It helps alleviate the pick and roll pressures. When shot clock's breaking down and Tatum's getting double teamed, or Jalen's getting they're seeing increased focus on the defense. And I thought that hurt. I thought the fact that Tice couldn't step out to the 3. Yeah. Make that consistently really hurt. But if you get a guy like Miles Turner, that just opens up the driving lanes and it opens up the lane for Tatum and Brown to kind of do what they do. Even though Tatum operates more in in the mid range area a lot of times. But
Definitely.
Yeah.
What is Kimba's role?
Kimba is the point guard. Like I don't think that. I know he was a little hurt, especially like toward mid-season, and then coming into the bubble. You know, they eased him into everything, but he still wasn't 100%. That was clear against Miami. He could not get anything going. So I think you just like Tatum is just the primary focus of the offense. The thing about it, last season, at the beginning of last season, Tatum took a while to get back into the groove of things. Like I think he took about like 2 or 3 months to get back into his offensive groove.
Yeah.
And that's when we were seeing Gordon Hayward was balling out at the beginning of the season, and then he got hurt. Once he got hurt, Brown took off, and then Tatum took off shortly after. I'm expecting Tatum to take off at the start of the season. Like we don't have much layoff between the playoffs and the beginning of this season.
Training camp's in 11 days.
I'm expecting him to take off at the beginning of the season. So I'm assuming that's going to take a little pressure off of Kimba.
Yeah. Hey, they picked up, and that Pritchard pickup. That's another junkyard dog. That's another.
Yeah.
That's another piece defensively. Like that kid is tough. That kid can make shots. Like that's one of those underrated picks, Rick Share, that we gonna be talking about late in that first round to get him alongside what they do with Smart. Like that's gonna be a tough backcourt to score against. Yeah. And that was a good piece for them. Yeah. Danny Ainge did good with that one.
Yeah,
as always.
I'm shocked. I think Miles came out with. I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think we're going to end up seeing a couple more pieces moved within the next day or two. So, I think Pritchard might actually have an extended role.
Yeah,
this coming
free agency in 18 minutes, bro. We're doing good.
Yo, we should have.
I'm excited.
We probably should have waited.
I'm so excited.
Yo, Miles,
this is where we live at.
What's your deal with Obi Toppin?
I don't really have a deal with him. I think he's box office, and he's obviously going to bring something to New York.
Dude, 6'9", averaging 20 points, bro. Like what's
hometown kid, but you got to think. I mean, New York has plenty. I wouldn't say they have plenty of Obies, but they got plenty of people with his body, with his type of movements, and what they want to do in the front court. Like it just didn't. I think it's a great pick, right? But I think you're gonna have to make moves to make that pick make sense. Does that make
they have
for sure?
They have though. So they released released some guys and waived some guys, and some guys aren't gonna opt in. But I really thought they should have got a point guard. I agree with you on that.
Definitely.
I thought they should have got somebody to stabilize RJ that can run the offense. That Halliburton, I thought he was going to go there. I thought that's where Halliburton was going to go.
Yeah,
I think what New York is thinking is that they're going to use some. I think what New York needs is what Phoenix is already doing and already did. So when you bring in a person like Chris Paul alongside a Devin Booker and a DeAndre Ayton, you have solidified pieces. Now you have the veteran presence who knows how to. Can't say win a championship, however, but he plays well throughout the season as well as the playoffs. Like we watched him and what he did with Thunder. We didn't expect anything from the Thunder last year. I think the Knicks are going to try to bring in some type of veteran guard, like I've heard they've looked at Rondo. A Dennis Schroeder would have been a good pick if the Lakers didn't get him. Like somebody who already knows how to run an offense, has been in the league, and can use it, because the Knicks really have a team of kids, if we're honest about it. And the team and the people that they expected, the I forget his name, it's like Ilakina or like those type of people that they expected to make a bigger jump haven't made that jump as leading that offense. So first you need an identity. That's what they've been working on in the offseason and during the playoffs when the pieces they made in the office as well as on the floor. First you get an identity. First you figure out what you're going to do and who's going to lead that team. Obi Toppin is going to be box office. Is going to give you the dunks and the highlights. But who's going to lead that team and calm those kids down when it seems to be a little bit overwhelming for where they are in the season? or you're talking about a rookie who is maybe hit a rookie wall and during the first 30 games of the season and figuring out themselves, who's going to bring that? And I think the only way they're going to do that is going to be with a veteran presence from a veteran guard. Or I would almost say go for a veteran point guard. Now, what that looks like and who that is, I'm not sure, but because you're going to need somebody who can possibly start or who's going to anchor that B team.
Well, hopefully Thibodeau. Hopefully the coach. A part of what they've gone through is the coaching and the ownership. Sure. And leadership for me starts with the top down. You know, when you got an owner like James Dolan, who's been as inept as he has been over the years for that franchise, that helps. So hopefully Tibbs can stabilize them a little better. But yeah, I do like, having Obi sitting there. But, again, in the draft, do you draft for needs or you draft for best available?
Yeah.
And then you figure out the pieces later. It's tough.
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, let me ask this. Do you think with Buddy Hield wanting out, that's a possible trade?
It's a good piece, but that's not what they need.
It's not what they need. I agree with that.
It's a good piece. He wants a lot of money, too.
I think they got like $40 million in cap.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting Westbrook, which I know that he was someone that's been rumored.
He fits into that veteran guard stuff, but he's not.
But you're talking about someone that's supposed
need.
to. Yeah, you're talking about someone that you need someone that's going to calm them down. He's not going to.
He's taking all their cap space.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. He's still like 40 minutes. Like these people who are in these contracts, like you think about Chris Paul, and they were like, maybe the Lakers should. I'm like, bro, he's owed 84 million over the next 2 years. We can't pay that. Like we ain't got no team after that.
For 85. That's crazy. That's 40 million.
I'm like, he's getting paid more than Bron. I'm like, Chris, look, I get it. But even Houston, I think one of the higher execs were like, that might be the worst contract in NBA history in terms of the last, I wouldn't say cliff he's on, because obviously he is still producing. But 40 plus over the next 2 years is crazy to me.
You're trying to make money, yo.
James Harden 50.
Oh, he made his money. But and James Harden is another question. You turned down 105 over 2 years. You're the highest paid player ever, right? Because you want to be in Brooklyn? That don't even make no sense to me. Like Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant.
I want to go play with my friends.
That don't make no sense.
But listen, they're not going to win in the West.
It's not.
I understand that. I agree.
That's why they want to go over to the East. It's better. It's easier to beat Giannis than it is to beat LeBron.
This is very true. I'll give you that.
Giannis ain't even a guy in the East. He's not. Milwaukee's not.
No, I know.
Is he not the guy?
Different every year, but
and now y'all understand.
I agree.
And now y'all understand why there's two L's.
I think
Lakers and LeBron, baby. Now you understand it.
I think the piece they made for getting Drew Holiday. Now the whole Bogdan Bogdanović has basically traded, which basically means his agent is like, hey, bro, I got a team that wants to pay you this type of money. And he was like, all right, bet. Well, forget the Bucks. I'm not doing that.
Well, he didn't even agree to the sign and trade. That's why it didn't make sense in the first. Now, the idea, I will say that when they first announced that Bogdan was going to go over there, I was like, oh, that's a good piece.
Drew and Bogdan, I was like, okay,
that makes sense.
That's a solid
that
team.
Makes sense. Yeah, but I actually think that I don't think Milwaukee's not the team that anyone really fears, to be completely honest.
I don't think they fear them, but they win in the regular season.
That's the issue. Budenholzer, that's what he does. We saw it with the Hawks, 60 plus wins and get swept by LeBron in the playoffs. So I think we know they're going to be good in the regular season. It's the playoffs to figure out. Like, be honest, look, we know what you're going to do. We watched it all regular season. Are you going to change up and adapt to what the team is throwing at you? And we've seen the past two playoffs, two-time MVP can't adapt to what the defense is throwing at him. And when you talk about people like Drew, like underrated player is Drew Holiday. Like, he's respected amongst players, but as a household name, he doesn't have that same respect. And we know what he brings to the table. So I definitely think Eric Bledsoe has not shown up the past two playoffs. When you talk about the connect, like Chris Middleton only seems to be that all-star that he was when Giannis is not on the floor or Giannis misses a game and Chris gives you 35. You're like, bro,
when they're playing the Celtics. Or when they're playing the Celtics.
It's a true statement.
He turns.
He's a problem.
Michael Jordan. I don't know.
What in the rest of these games, what are you doing, Chris? Like, I could definitely use your shot or the 35-point Chris. Like, I used it because what happens is Steph Curry was amazing, right? But Steph Curry was amazing because you had to watch out for Clay and you had to watch out for a pass and Dre from the top of the key. When they got Kevin Durant basically started that system because you had to watch for Steph and Klay Thompson. You couldn't double Kevin because you had the best shooting backcourt ever. So I think what Giannis needs is a person who's going to take off that pressure that comes with being the superstar and a 2-time MVP. And I don't know if I think Jrue Holiday can be that, but not as big as like a Steph and Klay or a Bron and AD. Like, you can't double Bron because he's a passer, right? Like, you're not gonna be able to double Devin because he has Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton now. Like, that type of like, I won't say dichotomy, but that type of like back and forth is what Giannis needs. He needs to come down and say, look, I'm going to score now, but I need the other 3 players to be threats when I pass it out.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Derek. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I agree with that, but I think what Giannis needs in order to take his game to the next level is to develop handles like Anthony Davis, because outside of that, he's not if he doesn't do that, I think what we have is what we have. Like, that's it. So yeah, he needs another guy there.
If he gets an AD
he needs
jumper,
to be able to develop
bro,
handles.
he's gonna be scary.
Well,
No,
I think
handles. I don't even think it's a jumper.
I give you
it's
that.
perfect. It's perfect to pick up hold 1 second, guys. This is my boss calling. We got practice in an hour, so hold on.
I got you. I think Giannis is really. He needs. I'll give you the handles, the breakdown person, because he plays off the ball, right? And he's trying to come down the middle, cut, use fast breaks. That's where he gets a lot of his points and the rebounds as well, right? So I think he needs somebody who can create off ball and can take the pressure off of him being a superstar of the team, which that wasn't an Eric Bledsoe, that wasn't a Chris Middleton, that wasn't a Ilyasova, or like, these people can make shots and they're role players, but I'm not giving them the ball and saying, go get me a basket.
Yeah. I'll throw in this last thing, and it's to piggyback off what Derek said about getting your AD handles. And this is as the coach, as I'm watching the Bucks, what I notice, Giannis is a driver from, if I can see you coming in the playoffs, those drives shrink, right? If I can see you coming. What has to develop, and what Anthony Davis has, is that 17 to 18 catching the post and face up, or like Derek said, be able to put the ball through his legs and in and out, get to the basket from 17. I'm 6'11", so from 7, I can get from 17 to 3 foot in one step, you know what I'm saying, or one move. He doesn't have that, and that element of his game slowed them down a lot, because if I can see you coming, it's easier, just like war. If I can see you coming, it's easier to build a defense. Yeah. So I can build a wall with you coming at me, full speed from getting a rebound. But it's a lot harder to defend when I have to think about, do I send a double? When do I send my double? And if I'm sending my double, what am I giving up? He has had pieces. I mean, when you can take Robin Lopez, he can shoot 40% from 3. You got DiVincenzo that you can sit out there and shoot threes. You got Pat Connaughton. You got guys around that can make those shots. Yeah. But you can't make those shots if you're catching at 22 feet and everybody can see you. Yeah. My defense is going to load up, and especially with these NBA coaches, they're not stupid like you guys have said. So if he can develop that portion of his game, it's going to help him out a whole lot. But that's Anthony. That's what made Anthony Davis special. How do you double somebody that can go in and out through his leg behind the back? In the words of Filet, he can go tween, move, and he hit the rim. How do you
see somebody in the corner like, hey, you got to knock it down.
Let's wrap it up with this. Let's wrap it up with this last thing, man. Let's just grade some picks, right? I'm gonna call out a pick randomly, and you just give me a grade for it, right? So I'll give you the name, I'll give you the pick, you just give me the grade for it. And we'll do it real quick. So let's start off at the top, man. The Timberwolves, man. The Timberwolves, right? Them drafting Anthony Edwards. Just give me a grade A through F. What you got on that, Miles?
I'm gonna go with an A because of what he brings to the table. I wanted LaMelo, but I think what he brings to the table you can't argue with. So they'll get an A from me.
Coach, what you got?
A.
Okay, Derek, what you got?
I got an A.
You got an A for that one too? Okay, cool. We got the Warriors with James Wiseman. Where you at with this one, Coach?
A.
Well, yeah,
Fits
Miles.
what they need, yeah.
A plus. With Clay going down, he's gonna have to pick up. I think he has the ability to do that.
Okay, what you got, Derrick?
A plus. They needed a big. Like
That
was
big
their need.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We got Hornets with LaMelo. Where you at with this one, Derrick?
I'm going A on that one. I'm going
Okay.
A. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Coach.
A.
Okay, Miles.
Definitely.
All right, Miles. We got the Knicks with Obi Toppin. Where you at with this one?
I'm gonna say B because they picked the best available, right? But it wasn't for them. So I'm gonna say B because you went with what you had to do at that moment at 6.
All right, where you at, Coach?
B. I give it a B.
Yeah.
Okay. Where you at, Derrick?
B minus because it didn't fill the need. But again, they're going to do other moves in the next couple of days. So.
All right, Derrick. We're gonna stay with you. We got the Kings with Halliburton at 12. What you got?
A plus.
Wow. Okay.
Love it.
Where you at, Coach?
A plus. Great pick.
Okay, Miles.
Great value.
I think we're all on the same page here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to A as well.
I'm gonna throw one out here for y'all, man. Just for my own selfish things, man. We got the Pelicans at 13 with Lewis, man. Lewis Jr. Where you at with that one, Coach?
B. He's fast. He offsets ball. Yeah, I give that a B. That kid can go.
Yes, he
That kid
can.
go.
Where you at with this
Yes,
one,
he
Miles?
can. I think I'm gonna say the same thing. I think he's a great point guard with good speed, and I think his jumper is a little bit more reliable than Lonzo's. Obviously, Lonzo shot great this past year, but that's a good pickup to put alongside.
Okay, Derrick, where you at with this one?
Drew Holiday is gone, so I'm gonna say A minus.
All right, cool.
Not mad at that.
I'll take it. All right, here's the last thing, y'all. Last question. What does the East have to do to catch up with what they got going on in the West? Just real quick, give me your thing, man. Who can compete from the East? Who can basically bring it and basically make it a, if they ever get back in the finals, who will make it a some type of competition? Let's start off with Derrick. Where you at with this one?
The Celtics. Here's the thing.
Well, what would they have to do?
Every time, bro.
No. Okay. My two teams in the East are the Celtics and the Heat. Those are my top two teams right now. So, what do they have to do? I think at this point, all they have to do is just get, like I said, they have to shore up that 5 and get some and make sure that shooting is what it needs to be. Because it can't that shooting cannot be ranked 29th from the bench. That cannot happen.
They need solidification. That's what they need. The problem is the last 2 years, don't nobody know what they was doing. Jason Tatum knew I'm the best player on this team, and Brown knew I was the second best player. Gordon Hayward said, "Look, don't forget me. I get paid $34 million. I get paid $30+ million. I'm that guy, right?" But you need people who are going to solidify that offense. Brad Stevens to me is a great coach, and I'm still trying to figure out why in the last 2 years you've not been able to solidify roles and say, "Look, this is what we're doing," and having a consistent identity. And I think that's the issue. Once they get that, Jason Tatum's your best player. Either play around him and figure out how to make that offense work. And when you bring in somebody like Kemba Walker, who's an all-star, who's used to having the ball in his hands, giving you 40 at any moment, you got to solidify that. Like Kemba knows I'm that guy, but Jason is the guy, right? Like, so you got to figure out what that looks like.
Let me say this though. I don't disagree with you. But I think what we saw a lot in the Eastern Conference Finals this past season was that a lot of shots were just not falling. Like they were getting great looks, and Kemba, like I don't know, I'm assuming he was hurt, he was still recovering, but I think it was like the first 3 or 4 games he was not doing anything right. And when someone's not getting a shot up like that, they're not letting it fall. And now the defense is able to set and take that away from you. Yeah. Now you got other guys like Marcus Smart that try to play hero ball because Gordon Hayward is out of the lineup. Like it's just it discombobulated a lot of things. So I don't go ahead.
Do you contribute that playoff series to lack of shooting?
Yeah.
The host, okay.
Sure.
Because
you had Tyler Hero. You had Tyler Hero out there just like lighting it up,
That's the hero ball that was the problem. It wasn't. That's the hero ball that was the problem. It wasn't Marcus Smart or anybody else. The hero ball that was the problem was Tyler Hero.
Look, Marcus Smart, I love him. But I think what ended up costing is that he got his confidence up in that Toronto series, where he shot like 3 5s, and I forget one of those games. He did incredibly well. He did. The problem was he thought he could do that every single game. And when you're taking Jaylen Brown out of the offense by continuing to jack up shots that were not for him to make, it throws everything off. He did that this past season, and he did that previous season. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's where it kind of messed up.
So what do you do with the Heat? Go ahead, John.
Coach, what has to happen in the East?
Well, you got to get more Jimmy Butlers who are mentally tough on the team. So we didn't talk about this, but the Miami Heat drafted Precious from Memphis. Yes. Another rim protector, another body at the rim, another guy who can, who's a dog. You got to have more dogs than the Lakers. LeBron and AD, they mentally wore down the Heat. I mean, the Heat they got wore down. So if we're talking about the Pistons, they need another Marcus Smart. They needed that mental toughness, and for the East to get over the hump, it's the same thing when LeBron was in the East and the Pistons and Toronto and all these other people and the Sixers got all knocked out. They just couldn't get over the mental hump.
Yeah.
And it's so underrated. It's such an underspoken thing. Just being mentally tougher than your opponent, and for whatever the debate is about who's the greatest, people you can't defeat the stigma of what LeBron has done mentally to people in the East, like what Jordan did to the Knicks, what Jordan did to Orlando, like all those getting over or getting that proverbial monkey off your back. It's been a very difficult thing for a lot of people. And when he went over to the West, just like the Clippers, I'm quite sure the Clippers were thinking ahead. And what I'm saying, it's that mental aspect. We're gonna get to this series, and it's gonna be the biggest thing in the world. And here go these Nuggets. So getting dogs, you gotta have dogs on your team. And LeBron said it. Dennis Schroeder's a dog. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy Butler's a dog, and he's teaching them young pups how to be dogs.
That's a scary team, man. I like them, man. They're gonna be good for the next couple of years, and I think that's gonna be what you look like because Boston has the personnel, Boston has the pieces, Boston has the coach. So now Boston just has to prove. Look, we're not gonna let Jimmy Butler come in here and mentally beat us again with the team of just solid role players. And Adebayo was just an absolute monster. Like the whole playoff series. So,
you're not going to give up you're not going to give up a buzzer beater to Norman Powell so you can close out the series. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not going. We're not going to do those things.
Or OG.
You know what I'm saying?
Or OG, yeah.
And
OG had the nerve to be like, I know I was going to make it.
OG. My bad. Not Norman Powell, but OG.
You good?
That shot to me.
It's an ugly shot.
It was ugly, but I will say this: it was only created because Lowry had more space to set up the pass. So sure. you do that in a regular environment. That's not happening. I understood having Taco Fall there, but that right in that moment, Taco Fall made no sense.
I'm laughing at Rick. He's silly.
Nah, man, not
you
Taco.
Need consistent people. You need consistent people on teams who are mentally tough and can lead a team. That's who Giannis is supposed to be, right? Like a 2-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. He's not mentally there. When you look at the same thing and see the same defenses from the year before and you still get stopped by them, mentally you're not there. And this is something that James talked about. Like LeBron does not get enough credit for where he is mentally. Like I read a tweet today, a story today that he was like mentally preparing for December 1st. Like looking like I didn't get a lot of time in the offseason. I got to do things just a little bit differently. We watched it happen in the Clippers series. You saw a team where when Kawhi Leonard, the leader of the team or the scorer of the team, the guy on the team gives you 7 points in a fourth quarter in a closeout game when you're up double digits in 3 closeout games. There's a problem there.
Paul George was missing, completely.
For sure.
Missing.
But what does that say about? And no disrespect to the 08 and what y'all did in 2008, but Doc Rivers, to me, there has to be some type of. There's no blemishes on his record. Do you know how quickly he got the job in Philly? Like, I don't understand why he has no blemishes when he consistently is mediocre. He is living off of 2000.
Hold on. See, this is where you get. This is where you lose me, bruh.
How do you lose it? Has he not had the opportunity to get another chip? Has he not had that opportunity?
Miles, the Clippers didn't have their dog. They didn't have Pat Bev. Y'all not saying they had their dog.
That's perfectly fine. But what did I tell you at the beginning of the season? And James, we had this conversation via social media early in the season. I told Derrick this. I told Rick this. I said the only thing that makes me nervous about the Clippers is Doc Rivers. And that's why I did not give them the championship. Everybody had them winning and doing this and beating this. They got dogs over there in the Clippers. The Lakers ain't going to be able. The Las Vegas was saying they won the championship. I said Doc Rivers is the unknown variable because he's had this before. Now you got two bigger superstars. You got two bigger superstars. The question is Doc Rivers going to deliver?
That's on Lemon Pepper Lou, man. That's not on him. You know what I mean?
The whole thing about the Clippers didn't want to be in the bubble.
Yeah,
they weren't really
had
there. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. You came to play ball. Come to play ball. If you don't want to be here, don't come to the bubble.
How dare you call out one of the best coaches in all of NBA history? Like, that's wild for you.
I'm not even saying that.
You just mentioned okay. Let me
one of the best coaches in NBA history. I don't.
Let me ask Coach a question before we jump into whatever this is. Coach, I
got practice in about an hour. So
go ahead, Doc. I just need to know about the ballers you got over at Russ College, man. That's all I want to know.
Ballers we have, man.
Yeah, man. Is there a kid out there, man, that we should be looking out for in the future?
It's crazy. So we have a pretty much a whole new team. So this is my first year. This is my head coach's first year. He came over from Harris Stowe, and they won a championship. So my coach actually has been very successful. He's won 5 straight conference championships where he's been for the last 5 years.
Wow.
And he's not afraid to show you his rings. So we brought in. Yeah, that's how he is. He actually has them on his desk. We brought it.
Nice.
We brought in 10. We got about 10 new guys, but from a team that won 3 games last year. So we kind of got a whole new roster. We have about 5 Division I transfers and about 4 JUCO guys. I'm actually bringing in a kid that I coached from Norcross. He'll be coming in. We have 3 more guys here at the break. So we haven't played a game yet. We play our first game November 30th. We had a little COVID situation here on campus, so we've had to postpone and move some games back. But I'm excited just to see what we can do. This is a whole new experience for me. College is different because you got guys that can do it at this level. It's just a matter if they want to at this NAI level. There's some good basketball at this level. It's a very underrated level of basketball here, in the United States. But we don't. I can't tell you names as of yet because we haven't played. For me, it's like you got to see when the lights come on. But we're real excited. We're working. We just got back to campus last Thursday, so we've been on campus for a week. I was on quarantine because I got COVID, so I wasn't even around the team. I did my first practice on Thursday.
Wow.
On Wednesday.
Glad you're good, brother.
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate that. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what we can do. We got about 20 games on the schedule, and then we're gonna see. Try to win conference. I guarantee you, if we win conference, I will be one of those coaches. That,
You got to.
But
right before we move on, Rick, I just want to make sure. I'd be remiss if I didn't say how absolutely proud of what I've seen out of James. We watched him absolutely grow from playing rec, coaching guys he don't even know in LA Fitness and random gyms that we played at, and to see you walk out your dream and see you walk out and do what God created you to do, using the knowledge and the game that you love, brother. Big bro, I am absolutely proud of what you got going on. I've been able to watch over the past couple of years and seeing you at the AAU tournament down up in I think it was like Salvador, North. I'm not even remember, but seeing what you bring to the table and your knowledge and using that to mold young men's minds and to push them to the next level. I know you're not just teaching basketball there. I know you're teaching life skills and how to be a man properly around being a student athlete. So major props to you, bro. Absolutely proud. Love you and love what you're doing and what you got going on in life, man.
I appreciate that so much. And I just want Rick Sincere and Miles Austin, I still want you to know I still got it. I still am Mr. 16. I show these dudes every now and I show these dudes like I got bars. And I still got it. So, if there's ever an opportunity.
Hey, do you have 16 or do you have just one?
No, I got the tat, so I'm always there. Just to let y'all know, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Y'all don't know, man. Y'all seen me, man. Y'all seen me at the beginning of this thing, and it's not over. It's crazy. It's not over. Like my goal is to be a college head coach.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna trust God, and that's what I've been doing. But listen, I would love to sit and talk with you guys, but I have to get ready for practice.
You good, Coach? Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, bro. Love you, big bro.
Love you guys too, man. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, man. We truly appreciate you. Yo, last thing, man, before we leave, Derrick, give your predictions for who wins the championship next year. Go for it.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? Go ahead. You already know what he's going to say.
I think it's going to be Battle for 18. That's my prediction.
Battle for what?
Battle for 18.
I wanted it this year.
I think
put Jays on it. Like, I mean, I would love for something like that.
We both
I would love for
that
to happen.
Hold on. We both placed a bet that if the Celtics face the Lakers in the finals.
I didn't say you did.
Right.
Your teams did.
Wait, there'll be some shoes, right? Wait, we had shoes on the line.
We did. They didn't make it to the finals, so it don't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the bet was predicated on them making it to the finals. Honestly, I love that they didn't make it to the finals. Forget the shoes. I got more to brag on. We won. So I mean, it is what it is. But I honestly think the Battle for 18 would.
You finally caught up. Congratulations.
But I also
it's not we, Rick.
I want to make sure that we don't continue to push this narrative like we caught up. Like, bro, like in the last 20 years, it's 1-6. Like, we had 17, on, right? Like, we got to live in the 2000 era. Like, can we at least do that?
Can we at least do that? Like, so you help me out.
I want to make sure we had 16 before. Like,
the Lakers were at 16, right? Does that not mean that when they finally got one this year that they finally caught up to us? Like,
but you say finally, like y'all been relative, like, but y'all haven't produced.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Okay, if the Lakers get 18 before the Celtics do, does that not mean that you're now in the position to be called the greatest franchise in the league?
I already have the title.
You don't have that title, bro.
That's not
17. We had 17
after.
We had 17.
You might have had the most chips. Shout out to Bill Russell on 11.
You know what?
But like in the last 20 years, you guys have won 1 to our 6.
We are not the greatest, Miles. We're not the greatest.
Until
right now, it's a tie.
It is a tie.
It's a tie in championship.
It's a tie. It's a tie. It's a tie. We beat. Hold on. You know what? Hold on. Not even just that. Let's not even count the championships in terms of 17-17. We're 9-3 against the Lakers. So what are we even talking about?
That doesn't mean. What does that even mean?
9-3 in the finals against the Lakers. So it doesn't.
You guys have been.
It don't even matter, bro.
You guys
only got 3 against us,
right?
Y'all only got 3 against us.
You guys have been consistently okay and in the mix and mediocre. That's exactly what.
I'm sorry. What?
We've had an excuse. The last 6 years,
he said consistently in the mix and mediocre is what he said.
Mediocre. Yes. Well, so what were the last 5-6 years for you?
I know what we were. I know what we were.
What were the last 9 for you?
We understood what we were. But this narrative that we're the best team in the East, we got the best coach, and we should do this. We should be doing things that don't contribute to what happened. Like this whole narrative that you guys, we understand who the Lakers have been, right? We didn't have nobody. We playing with G leaguers, right? And we still stood tall. Like the Celtics have had good pieces, have had good coaching, and had no excuse to lose the way they did. LeBron has specifically, y'all know him very well. Y'all know him personally.
We sent him to Miami.
Y'all know his wife and his kids. Y'all know everybody.
We sent him to Miami. Yep.
And this is what you can say that, but I mean, like, past 08, like, what y'all?
This
y'all been there?
is cute. This is really
y'all
cute.
Been there?
This is really
like,
cute.
I'm trying to understand. I'm not even harping on the fact that we won the championship this year. I'm harping on the fact that you guys have been in the position to close it out multiple times. You can say what we've been over the past 5 to 6 years. I can say the same thing to y'all. Y'all been in the position to win, and y'all haven't.
We've been
consistent, and I don't see
3 times in the last 4 years.
I don't see when that happens.
You don't see what happens.
Y'all winning the champion. I don't see y'all. I don't even see y'all in the finals. In the next 2 to 3, I don't see y'all in the finals. And that's no shade.
That's
the
really
problem
cute.
Is I'm going off a track record.
Hey yo,
y'all had the pieces. Have y'all not?
Bro,
Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Y'all have had the pieces.
And they
y'all had the coaching.
Gordon Hayward was injured most of the time he was in Boston.
I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear it.
Kemba Walker got hurt.
Have you guys not had the opportunity to close?
Kyrie Irving,
not only did he get hurt, but I mean,
tore the team apart with his bad leadership.
He completely tore the team apart. So I don't want to hear anything about what you got to say right now, bro.
But the question is, have you guys had the opportunity to close? Because the answer is yes. And when we had the opportunity to close, we did.
Hold on, we've had the opportunity to be actually in the finals and win the championship in the last couple of
years.
Are you kidding? You did.
Yes.
Listen.
You guys have been a good team that hasn't closed in the playoffs.
Up until a lot of stuff happened in the playoffs where injuries happen, because they do happen, but up until those times, yeah, I'll say. But once those things happen, that took it out. So it is what it is.
This is where and we'll wrap it here. But this is where I saw opportunities for Boston outside of LeBron. Last year was the most open time in the East, right? Not this season,
yes,
right? This season was open too. I mean, you guys are knocking on the door again. But last season was the most open period for anybody in the East, because there was no LeBron, right? He was over in the Lakers. The Lakers were having a horrible time, right? And it did seem that you were going to have to face a Warriors team, right? That was somebody that you couldn't overcome anyway, right? So maybe there wasn't a lot of push to get to the finals because it was going to be tough. But it seems like the most open time in the East.
It's because the chemistry between Kyrie and the young guys at that point did not work well. You're talking about Kyrie wanting to be the guy. You're talking about Kyrie, like, knowing, like, saying, like, I got this.
Is he not?
And this is my
healthy,
way.
He's the guy.
Listen, when has Kyrie ever won with him being the man?
I mean,
never.
I think Boston was the
he has
the
never
biggest
won with him
opportunity.
being the guy.
It was Cleveland. He had nobody. We knew what he brought to the table, though.
Listen, at the end of the day, he has not produced a championship with him as the guy. So it doesn't matter.
He's not going to. Nobody ever
with his mentality, it doesn't work. His skill, yeah. I agree. His skill, we should have gone to the finals. But the mentality is what threw it off. And then you had Terry Rozier that wanted to be the starting point guard. Jaylen Brown didn't like his playoffs. Yeah. But I mean, once it came down to it in Eastern Conference Finals, when we were supposed to get into the finals, and Marcus Smart started playing hero ball, and that threw us off. So
and look, I'll say this year, outside of last year, this year was the biggest opportunity, because the only thing you had standing in front of you was Jimmy, right?
No.
So
okay, so
you only had Jimmy and some contributors, and you had the more talented team. And I think that was clear.
We definitely did. I think
that was clear.
So. I think what messed us up again was the fact that we didn't have someone to stop Bam, or at least control Bam. Between that, I mean, you can say what you want to say about the shooting, but Bam was the reason why we really lost that series. Not only that, but I think I'm not going to use this as an excuse, but I really do believe that that whole shutdown for those 4 or 5 months really threw off a lot of things for a lot of guys, not just the Celtics. I'm talking about the entire league. So, it is what it is. The championship is not an asterisk. The Lakers won that fair and square.
Yes, we did.
But
God bless you.
Shut up. But but I do believe that break threw a lot of guys off, like way off. So
that goes back to that mental aspect. Like
yes. So I will say Tatum is the guy that I want to see take that next step with not in terms of his game, because he does have to do something with his game. Just being able to just go for it and attack. But it's the mental aspect, which I think is what Kobe was actually working on him with. And that I believe that I think he will take that step this season. So I'm not worried about the Celtics in all honesty.
Yo, and the king of focus, understanding where he is in his career, really came through, man. I want to say thank you so much. For Derrick joining us today, man. We appreciate you, bro, as always.
Thank you for having me on. And Miles, thanks for not running anymore.
And y'all kept it civil, man.
I never had to run, bro.
Ever since you launched this show, you've been running.
What?
You've ran from me.
Look, at the end of the day, when you win, people come to you. You feel me? I don't chase people that weren't in the final. Why would I do that? Why would I run to have a conversation with you?
You weren't even in the playoffs last year and you ran from me. So what are you talking about?
What does that mean? We got to ring now. Why would I be like, oh, we won a championship, Derrick, come talk to me, please? Like, bro, come on, man.
No.
Why am I rushing to play? Y'all lost.
No.
There's no point in me running to you when y'all didn't do what y'all said y'all was gonna do. And even close on the bet that we made. So I mean, this is good, and I'm glad we did it. This was an absolute pleasure, Derrick. I love sharing the screen with you in this COVID world that we live in. Understand that. But at the
that
end
was
of the
adorable.
day, right now,
I will tell you that was really
right
adorable.
now at the time. We are the champs. LeBron and AD led it to the first time they had the opportunity. We closed, and when the season starts, we'll see a whole nother team. So we'll see what happens. I want to play y'all. I want a Boston LA finals. That's great.
I just need one thing. I need for your guys to stop talking about this parade. Like, stop. Just stop.
It'd be nice, but it's not gonna happen.
It's not happening. Just stop talking about it. Kuzma is the one that I really. Something happened with that guy, man.
He might be gone next 3 days.
That's a whole nother show. But talk about the people who Kobe worked with and who I expected something from. So think about this for 1 second. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Okay, Kobe worked with Westbrook, MVP. Kobe worked with Harden, MVP. Kobe worked with Tatum, big jump, right? Kobe works with Kuzma, no evidence of him talking to him at all. It's like whatever time they spent together, I saw no evidence of it. Like zero.
I will say this. When you talk about what
like he
Kobe
never meant to
brings
do
to the table and the mentality, Westbrook, leader of the team. You talk about Tatum, leader of the team. It's hard to play next to LeBron and AD. You have 2 top 5 players. You can't beat Kobe. You can't.
Hold on.
Kobe.
I've seen Kuzma without LeBron.
Kuzma.
I've seen Kuzma without LeBron. Don't do that. Don't do that.
This was nice. But I don't know what happened.
He's not that same killer, bro.
I don't know. He might be gone in the next 3 days. Who knows? I don't know.
Kuzma ain't going nowhere, man.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Pelinka looking at a lot of stuff right now.
That's real. That's real.
The next 2-3 days are gonna shape what December 1st looks like. I'm trying to tell you.
All right,
Boston always making moves. Danny Ainge doing. Rob Pelinka's in the mix, bro. Don't get it twisted. We got to live in free agency. We didn't do nothing in the draft. We got Dennis Schroeder. Thank God for 28 pick and some other stuff. Rob Pelinka pulled that one out his butt. I appreciate that because Rondo about to get paid somewhere else. I already know. We got to prepare for that. So we're gonna see, man.
Rondo. Anyway, yeah. Look. You know what? I'm gonna stop it right here. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We truly appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the people who are here with us today, man. And we look forward to what's gonna happen in the next few days in the NBA. It's definitely going to get interesting. With Rick Sincere, Derrick Myers, Miles Austin. We love y'all. We out.
Squad.